Star Productions. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to one of my sessions. This is self-awareness. Now, the reason why I'm dressed like this is because it's not the exterior that makes an individual. It's the interior that makes you who you are. Now, let's just expand on it, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about self-awareness. There are many ways to acknowledge self-awareness. So today, I want us to do some practice. I want us to be able to observe both sides of the trigger. What makes us happy and what our anxieties are. What triggers our anxiety. Now, due to the fact that I said what makes us happy, you thought I was going to say what makes you unhappy, what makes you sad. That's the whole concept. We tend to assume. Now, if we tend to listen to what people are saying, it will give us the right way. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. Were you expecting me to say happy or unhappy? I want us to focus, ladies and gentlemen, and I want us to just do what is right by us. I want us to do some practice. I will ask you some questions, and then you can respond to me. But most importantly, self-awareness consists of knowing yourself, correct? Self-awareness consists of you asking yourself the right questions. The mind will give you whatever it is that you're seeking. Now, if you're unhappy and you're asking the wrong questions, what do you think the mind is going to do? If you are unhappy and you keep reflecting on those unhappy thoughts, what the mind will do is present to you those thoughts. So let's focus on the power of the mind as well as we're doing on self-awareness. Okay? Because if you ask the mind a question, the mind, as I've stated so many times, ladies and gentlemen, the mind is like a CPU, Central Processing Unit. You ask the question, just like on my computer, or your computer, your phone, whatever it is, you ask Google. The objective is that Google will give you the response, the answers. And that is what the mind does. The mind will give you what you seek. Now, whatever that makes you happy, I don't know. You know. Whatever your triggers are that gives you the anxiety, you know what they are. But the essence of self-awareness is to understand all of this. To know when they're coming on or when it's not coming on. Now, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. But along the way, I will also give you the responses. Okay? Now, I need you to use your mind to empower yourself. I need you to be aware of the power of the mind. Now, as we go through this series of questions, I'll do my best to respond to your questions. But also, I want you to feel free to subscribe to this video, share this video, and ask any question that you feel that you want to ask, and I will be more than able and willing to respond to you. Okay? My first question: are you finding it difficult to understand your emotions? If you are having a problem controlling your emotions, you are lacking emotional awareness. I said it. If you're finding it difficult to understand your emotions, you're lacking emotional awareness. Self-awareness is part of emotional awareness. Now, I'm going to ask you this question so we can see where you are and we can see how we can resolve some of this. Now, the second question is, do you shut people down due to the fact that they don't agree with you? Do you feel as though your voice should only be the voice in a room? I want us to understand, when we listen to other people's opinion, that will always enlighten us. That will give us enlightenment. Never always say, I am right, I am right, I am right. You have to open up yourself to be able to give other people the chance to convey what it is they're trying to convey to you. This is all part of self-awareness. But we will go in depth as we move on. Now, the other question is, do you have excuses for your failures? And whenever you succeed, you praise yourself. But whenever you fail in something, you point the finger. It's never your fault that you fail in this project or in this business. It's somebody else. But when you succeed, you give yourself so much praise as you're the only person that have done this. Do you see where I'm going with this? This right here is called self-serving bias. Self-serving bias. You're willing to acknowledge the good, but when in actuality, you're not willing to accept the wrong. You're blaming somebody else. But when you succeed, it's me, instead of saying we. That's self-serving bias. And do you find it difficult to empathize with others, sympathize with others? How hard is it to relate to others? How hard is it for you to relate with others? Now, you're having a hard time to empathize, sympathize with people. You're having a hard time relating with others. Now, there are many studies that have been done that states that empathy comes from those who uses their experience and emotions to help others. It is hard for those who lack self-awareness to be able to help others. Ladies and gentlemen, self-awareness is the key to a lot of us. If you're not able to understand you, how can you be able to understand another? How can you build a relationship? if you don't know what it is that you want, you will get lost in a relationship because your objective will be to please that other person. And while your values decrease, you go to work, your objective is to please the boss and everyone else around you, and you create a lot of stress onto yourself. Let's move on. Have you ever done something that you cannot explain as to why you done it? You don't understand the reasons behind your actions? Part of self-awareness is being able to express yourself from the outside. Now, if you are creating a havoc and you don't understand as to why you did what you did, and you're not able to look from the exterior and say, wow, okay, these are my actions, you're fully lacking your self-awareness. Now, I know time is running out, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm just going to go through some basic questions. Have you ever suppressed your emotions? If you are lack of self-awareness, you will sometimes not give yourself the chance to feel. Now, if you notice, if you're not giving yourself the chance to feel, one day you will explode. Not in in that kind of explosion, but one day the anger will just come out because you cannot take so much in. You have to find an outlet. You have to know yourself. Self-awareness means giving yourself the chance to breathe. Next question. Do you find it difficult to make realistic goals? Realistic goals. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to know your weaknesses. If you are not making realistic goals, you will never achieve. But by you knowing yourself, that's why they say individuals that are self-aware are able to build their long-term goals. And they're able to plan. But if you are not self-aware, you're not able to do the proper planning. So to be honest with yourself, you have to know self. Do you feel as though sometimes you lack identity? You don't know who you are? When you go around a certain crowd, you feel as though this is where I belong. And when you go around a certain other crowd, you feel as though that's where you belong. These are all part of self-awareness. You have to know what makes you happy. You have to know who you are. For you to move forward, you have to understand the basis of your happiness. Do you find it difficult to focus on a task? When you're doing a long task, ladies and gentlemen, are you able to focus on that task? Are you able to see that task through? Or do you get distracted along the way? Self-awareness will give you the ability to be able to focus on a long task and see it through. But when you're not able to have that self-awareness, you set short-term goals. You're not able to set long-term goals. You sell yourself unrealistic dreams instead of looking at the facts. Now, do you suffer from time management as well? I sometimes do, because I was supposed to be at Foxstar Production at a certain time, but today's the first time I made it on time. Looking at the circumstances, some things are quite understandable, but people with self-awareness only think about short terms, and which indeed I have stated. When you're unaware, or when you don't know who you are, you set short-term goals. But when you have that long-term goal, it gives you a sense of awareness of self. Now, let's go back, because I can give you the strategies of you knowing who you are. But the main thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, is that spend time with yourself. Stare into a wall. Meditate. Take time to know who you really are. Ask yourself the right questions. What makes me happy? What do I want in life? How do I want others to see me? What kind of person am I conveying? Am I showing to the outside world? But most importantly, you need to ask yourself, who am I? Do you really know who you are? Do you know what makes you happy? Do you know what you're seeking? Do you know what your purpose is? Do you know why you're going through what you're going through? My name is Janisa Camaro, ladies and gentlemen. I am willing and able to work and support as many of you as possible. We have a team and we're willing to go on. Let's stop